Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the classroom with Architect Mark. And today, we're finally moving on to another software. But that doesn't mean that we're leaving CAD behind. We will occasionally go back to it. Anyway, we're going to SketchUp now. It took a little while because I was looking for material that I'd been previously using, and I remember that we actually teach the entire uh, software in basically 2 days. And uh, of course, that's an entire class worth of a day. But so the material that I was looking for was actually just two pieces of paper, and I found them, and that's what we're gonna use. But we're also gonna be looking at some news that just arrived and would be pretty important moving forward. So let's head on over to the classroom and look at the new environment that we'll be working on. So as you can see, it's mostly the same, except now we have the keyboard and the mouse in black so that you can better see it because the interface of SketchUp is mostly bright, unlike CAD. It's a big departure, but you'll get used to it soon enough if you're not already using it. Anyway, we have our 12-minute timer here, and let's start. So first, let's talk about the news that dropped, which is basically the that is SketchUp 2021. So I believe this one in the upper left corner emblem or logo for SketchUp has changed, and it's across the entire spectrum of products that they have, including the warehouse. I the warehouse. The is a big departure from the red one, and it's uh, not as striking actually. Uh, so of course, 20 new features is uh, down the line eventually. For now, we will mainly be talking about the fundamentals we have in SketchUp. So let's look at the environment and see uh, what's normally on here. So let's turn some of these off and then focus on the ones that we will be primarily using. Okay, so yeah, what I'm doing right now is I'm moving around the toolbars so that they won't clutter up the space. Let's okay. You can't see it right now because I'm in the way, so I'll just remove myself for a little bit and then talk about the controls we have on the left side. Oh, I'll just move this out onto the center. Maybe use large icon so we can see it better. Okay, so this is the large toolbar, which is normally top on the left, and it basically has everything you need to model within SketchUp. The controls are oh, what happened? Where is it? Okay, there it is. It went away when the mouse went away. also. So what do we have here? We'll go through it down the line. We have select, which is the default. So whatever command you have, when you press spacebar, it goes back to select. Remember that. We have paint bucket, which calls up the material selector. We have erase, which allows us to delete lines within or parts of the model within SketchUp. Now, modeling in SketchUp is fairly different, and we'll get to that in a little while. So we have the line tool, which is basically a pencil that allows you to draw any shape you want, as long as it's made up of lines. Now, as you can see, what happened there when we close off a polygon, it immediately creates a region. This is what it's called in CAD here. It's a face, and it's basically a face that is reversed. So in SketchUp, there's also that concept. There is a face that's facing you and the reverse face, which you might be wondering why the reverse face is facing us when we just completed that polygon there. Well, the answer to that is because push-pull, which made SketchUp really popular with a lot of the people in the industry. It's this command right here, push-pull. What happens with push-pull, if you do it on an object like this with the face actually facing downward, you push-pull on that, you create the proper geometric output. Okay. That means all the sides will be front facing. So that's why when you complete a polygon, it faces away from you initially. Now we also have a freehand tool here, which you would marginally use, if at all. You have the rectangle tool. You can also invoke this by pressing R, and this one by pressing L. So unlike CAD, which you needed to commit to the command by pressing spacebar or enter, here, when you press a key, the command is immediately invoked. So for example, you want a rectangle, you press R, and then you have your rectangle tool ready. And then when you want to push pull there, you press P, and then you're immediately in the push pull. When you press space, you default back to select. Okay, so it's faster that way in SketchUp. When you press the key, the command is immediately invoked. So what else do we have here? We have a rotated rectangle. Let's try this one. Okay, so it's basically that's pretty much what it is. A rotated rectangle. So you start off with a line and then a rotation, and you complete the command that way. Now, controlling. Oh, why is that? Can't you see that? Oh no, what happened? Oh, sorry. It would seem that the mouse is not responding to this program right here, or at all right now. I wonder why. Anyway, I will get to that later, and I promise you that tomorrow you will be seeing how the mouse moves. So I was going to talk about the interface. I mean, we can, but you can't see it here. So when you're moving about in SketchUp, the most important button is the middle mouse button. So you press that, and when you hold on to it, you're inside of the orbit command. You can see that the command moves from select to orbit when you press it. Okay, press. What happened again? There you go. When you press it, moves to orbit. And you can kind of see below what happened here. Okay. So when you're in orbit and you move the mouse around while holding the button down, so you can do the orbiting motion, and this is always grounded by gravity. You can see here at the bottom left position, there is some sort of status area here where when you identify a command, let's say rectangle, you can see it's asking us to select the first corner and then period and then control. Holding down control will allow you to select the center instead. Okay, you don't need to hold it down, you just press it and then it defines, it redefines itself, like you're making from the center or from the edge. So that's some areas of the interface that you'd be keeping your eye on. This one, lower left, and then this one, lower right, which basically contains all the dimensions. This entire bottom section here tells you what's happening with your command. So we'll go through all of these other entities here. We have a circle, a polygon that's inscribed in a circle. So here below it says use control plus or control minus to change the number of segments. So right now it's at 6 segments. When you control plus, it increases the segments. You can see it at the keyboard there. Control minus decreases the segments. Okay, pretty handy if you're like creating a screw head or something, or a polygonal building. You can use that. We also have an arc that requires you to select the center point, end point, and you finish the arc that way. You have a 2-point arc. First point, second point, and bulge. So this is much more like one of the commands in CAD. You have a 3-point arc, which requires to draw 1, 2, and 3. So basically it considers a midpoint. So starts with the endpoint, midpoint, endpoint. And then we have a pi, which basically creates a closed arc from the center. Right, so if you notice here in the toolbar, you can see just exactly how many clicks you need to make to perform the command. And basically, that's it for the entities in SketchUp. As you can see, there's no primitives here. Well, right now, I believe there should be some, but we'll, we'll rarely use it. You'll usually start with drawing your objects and then using the manipulation tools here to actually make them into 3D. That's what brought SketchUp into the limelight ever since we were in university. So that's it for our 12 minutes right now. It's a short introduction to the SketchUp tools, and we went to here on the large toolbars. So we'll discuss some of the other controls tomorrow, and hopefully I will have this mouse sorted out because it's the mouse is fundamental for doing SketchUp work. All right, I will see you guys again. Take care and bye bye.